Well, hi and welcome. In this video I want to show you a start to finish example of a landscape edit using the new masking tools and combining it with other global adjustments that are at our disposal. Okay, let's start with a common problem image, a sunset, where the sky is quite bright and the foreground is quite dark. Now we can't really increase the exposure for the foreground much because it would really blow the sky out. So with our new tools we can separate the foreground and the sky and edit them separately. So let's do that. Okay, let's go over and have a look at the landscape presets. So here we've got KF AI landscape, and let's just have a look at some. So we can have a look at early morning. That's not bad. Oh no, that's not good because it's blowing the sky out. Foreground impact, possible. And foreground light and sky darken. Oh, I like that better. So I've got a starting point. So I'm going to click on that to actually apply it. Now the first thing you can do to try and change things and get the image that you want is now to use the amount slider. And over here we can click on that slider and we can have more of what we've set in the new masks. Or we can have less. Not really thrilled by that, so I'll just set that back to the 100% point. And now if we look over it, we've got the masks panel. We've got two masks, which is the ones that I created, and one is for the foreground, which is all that lot, and one is for the sky, which is that lot, all easily put together. Now the great thing is we can edit these separately. So if I click on the foreground light and say, click on that one, you can see the edits that I've already made in here. I've put a bit of clarity in and I've pulled the shadows up a little bit. But now if I want, I can lighten the foreground a little bit because it's now separate to the sky, which is brilliant. So I can just put a tiny bit of exposure in, which I quite like. Yep. Maybe a bit of texture. I think that's about okay. That's, yeah. Maybe we'll try a bit of saturation. So we'll just give it a little bit of. That's not really doing much good. No, I think we'll leave that where it is. Right, now I can go to the sky. And I can click on the sky darken, and you can see what I've done. I've took the shadows down and the highlights and a little bit of exposure down, and a little bit of texture clarity, and again a little bit of dehaze just to give it a little bit of impact. Now you can play around with this. So let's try, let's say, a little bit less exposure just to make it a little bit more imposing. We pull the whites down a little bit, maybe a little bit more clarity. So you see you can play around with all these now. And oh, let's try a bit of saturation just to boost it just a little bit. Yeah, okay, I think we're getting there with that one. But now there's a little bit of a discontinuity really, that it's not, this could do it with the foreground, could do it warming up a little bit. So we're going back to his foreground mask, and I'll go down to the little colour swatch, I think, and try that. So I'll click on that, and then I'll go outside, and now I'm picking a colour from the sky to add to the foreground. So something like that. I could make it a little bit more saturated by clicking and dragging and moving it up a little bit, so you can see that well, we don't want it to go yellow, but yeah, I'm actually warming up, and I think that's not a bad match. That's not a bad match. So I'll close that down, and then at the top of the mask panel here you can see this little on-off switch. It's a little toggle switch. And if I click on that, we can see that we've gone from before and after, and before and after. And you can keep going back and changing things to your heart's content. Once you've done this on the separate items, if you wanted, you could then, let's say, come out of the mask panel and you've got all the global adjustments. So again, we've now got global highlights, and we've got global exposure, global shadows, and you could just tailor this now till you get exactly the image that you want. And then back we go just to have a quick look. So we'll have a look at the before and after. So that's before and that's after. And now I'm looking at it, I think I'm happy with the foreground, but I think the sky is a little bit too much, so I'm going back on the sky and probably just lift the exposure just a little bit. And I think that works better. Right, well that's it for a start to finish edit on a landscape type image. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking at the bottom of any page on my website. I'll see you in the very next video. Bye for now.